Greetings, love magnets. Greetings, love icons. We are here tonight talking about neutralizing fear with love. Neutralizing fear with love. Okay. And as you saw on the thumbnail for this live, reject the invitation to darkness. We are talking about rejecting the invitation to darkness. What invitation, Pangea? What are you talking about? We are all being invited by the global events, by the headlines, by the state of the economy, by the social unrest to engage with the dark side of our beingness. All of these things invite us to join a chorus of fear, hate, um, not enoughness, right? Scarcity mindsets, hopelessness, all of these illusions that are being put before us. But we have a choice here, right? And now is the time to be intentional with that choice. Now is the time to be intentional with where you place your awareness. We are all here to transmute energy. We are all here to transform, to evolve as individuals. And as we do so, we'll evolve as a collective. But you may have noticed that not everybody wants to evolve. Not everybody wants to evolve for themselves. Not everybody wants to see you evolve. Not everybody wants to see the collective evolve. So we're going to talk tonight about how to neutralize these fear tactics, the energy of fear, the vibrations of fear, with the power of love. Okay? So before we get going here, I want to introduce myself. My name is Pangea Northstar. I am a energy healer, a sound therapist. I do distance Reiki. I do energy readings. I'm a teacher and a seeker of truth, just like you. Okay? So tonight, we're going to be talking about how to neutralize fear with love. We're going to do some discussion. And I invite you to join me. Greetings, Zena Electra. I invite you all to join me with your input. I invite you all to ask questions. Okay? And I invite you to participate in the visualization that we're going to do before we wrap up tonight. Okay? So I see there's several people in the chat. Please say hello. Let me know who you are, where you're from as you enter the chat tonight so that I can acknowledge you and give you a greeting as we go. Okay. But y'all, I, we're going to be talking about some things that are political, but I want you all to know that I'm not a political person. And what I mean by that is I'm not for one side or against another side. Okay? We're talking about the powers and the forces of light and darkness, but I'm not here to say who is light, who is of the light, and who is of the darkness. That's for you to discern within yourself. Okay? I'm not here for either political party, for any political party. Okay? But I do want to talk about what we've seen happen over the last 10 days or so. Okay? Y'all, we had a very serious global event happen on a solstice. There was a bombing that happened that was initiated on the solstice, and I want us to stop and think about this. I want us to recognize what we are seeing here, okay? And, many people in the spiritual community who consider themselves, conscious, just don't like, are very opposed to the current US administration. Okay. Opposed to those or the person or whoever made the decision to enact this bombing. Okay. But I want us to stop and realize what are we looking at? What is really happening here? Okay. What we are witnessing is a master manifester. Okay. Now, I am referring to the president. Okay. But when I refer to the president, I'm also talking about the administration and all those who support him. Okay. But we're going to allow for the purpose of this conversation, we're going to allow the president to represent, to be a proxy for all those who are part of his administration, and even those who may not be officially a part of the administration but are behind him and are making the decisions. Please believe the president, our president is not a mastermind. Okay, he is not a mastermind behind the things that are happening. Okay, this has been shown to us clearly. Okay, we're talking about the same individual. If we talk about an individual, we're talking about the same individual that told us to drink but bleach or like Lysol during the pandemic. Okay, so we're not talking about a person who is a mastermind, but we are talking about a master manifester. Why am I saying this? Let's just use the bombing as an example. This took place on the solstice, you guys. Okay. So the summer solstice is the day of the year that we have the most sunlight. Okay. We have 14 hours of sunlight on the solstice. Okay. Now, what does the sunlight do for us? How does the sunlight affect us? And what does the sunlight represent? Okay. The sunlight charges up our solar plexus chakra. Okay. As well as the organ of the solar plexus. Okay. Which represents our personal power. Our personal power. Okay. The solar plexus chakra is the center of the energetic center of our energetic body, our biomagnetic field. Greetings, Dabney. Okay. So on this day, on the solstice, that we were charged up, right? That we were receiving the most power from an outside source to our energetic body. Think about this. This was masterful. Okay. On the day that we are the most charged up, whether you were aware of it or not, your personal power center was being charged up on this day. Okay. Receiving light codes from the sun on the solstice. Okay. Now, all of the humans, all of the people are charged up. All of nature is charged up. Right? Now, ask yourself, how do we utilize that power? How do we utilize that energy? How do we direct that energy? Using what? our attention, what we focus on, what we choose to observe, right? So on this day that we are the most charged up, we have the most power within our energetic and physical bodies. What was our attention directed toward? What were we invited to observe? This bombing. Okay? This bombing. So the things that we observe, the things we give our attention to, the things that we believe, we empower those things. We give our energy to those things. Okay? Does that, I see you saying yes, that makes sense in the chat, right? This was masterful. On the day that we have the most power, let's turn everybody's attention toward this and make everyone feel powerless. Make everyone feel fearful. Make everyone feel helpless. Let's put it out that, we're starting World War III. I'm going to make, let's make a unilateral decision. If you believe it wasn't planned, okay? If you believe that this was a unilateral decision and that one person made this decision, you now believe that this one person has the power to make the total decision for what your future looks like for the whole world. Yes, harvesting our energy. I see that comment in the chat. Exactly. This was the ultimate energy harvest. Now, for those of us who, are seekers of truth, who are tapped into nature, who are light workers, healers, way showers, hopefully you were focused on that, working in your gifts that day, sharing your healing gifts with someone, or focusing on yourself, healing yourself, because your gifts are for you first. Personally, on that day, I was teaching at a retreat, okay, and helping some people discover their gifts, because that's what lights me up, okay? That's what makes my soul happy, and that's what I'm here for, okay? Helping some people to discover their light, pointing them back towards their own energetic sovereignty, okay? So I want to make sure that I say this, that the download I got on that day, after hearing, like I spent all day, teaching, connecting with the people, doing the things that, that make us all happy, right? And at the end of the day is when I got that news. And the download that I got was that this bombing, this destruction was merely a reflection of the opposite, the inverse, the dark side of all of the collective, the enlightenment that is happening for the collective, all of the healing work that we're doing, all of the raise and the vibration of the planet, all the people that are waking up, all the people that are sharing acts of kindness and compassion and love. This bombing was merely a dark reflection. You got yin and you have yang, right? It's a polar opposite reflection of all of the beautiful work that's being done. Yes, Zena, it was an energy grab. Okay. But it was also the opposite effect of all of the beautiful work that's being done. Okay. So those who seek to prevent that beautiful work from being done, to prevent people from awakening, from discovering their own power, how do you do that? You blow stuff up. That's one of the ways to do it, right? And redirect people's attention from the beauty of the new earth that we're creating. You redirect their energy to something that is awful, to destruction and death and old world energy. Okay, does that make sense? If that makes sense, give me some more fire in the chat. Okay, so you all listen, I get it. Watching a master manifester use their powers of manifestation for in a way that does not serve the light. Okay, I'm gonna be careful with my words here, because for myself, my intention is to stay neutral. My intention is to stay neutral. Okay, I understand what I'm looking at. I understand what's being done. Okay, and I also understand that watching a master manifester use their power, especially in a way that does not serve the light, that does not serve the collective in a beautiful, loving, and harmonious way, it's very triggering. Okay. And it's even more triggering for those of us who are not manifesting, who are not mastering our powers of manifestation. Okay. It's extremely triggering. Okay. It's much in the same way that a person who struggles with setting boundaries for themselves will be triggered by someone who is able to set their boundaries, right? If you're a person that just has a real problem saying no, a real problem standing up for yourself, a problem, drawing the line and saying, hey, this is how things must be in order for me to keep my peace, or whatever the case may be, for my business to run well, for my household to run smoothly. When someone else draws a strict line with you, and someone else is able to set their boundaries and say, look, this is where I stand. This is how I'm going to conduct myself. This is what it is. These are the rules. That can be very, very triggering for the person who does not know how to set boundaries. So if I say, look, I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to talk about this because this disturbs my peace. The person who has not yet learned to set a boundary and say, oh, I don't need to have certain types of conversations, or that's going to disturb my peace. A person who still allows anyone to come into their space and disturb their peace, they're going to feel like that's rude. When in reality, no. As a person who believes in respecting my peace, I'm not being rude. I'm protecting my peace, right? But the person who also protects their peace will say, my bad, I understand. They know when to back up, and they're not going to take it personal. If I say, I don't want to hear this, I don't want to have that conversation, let's talk about something else, because that disturbs my peace. Okay. And I'm using that example because that is one of the things that we we can do, setting boundaries as to what we're going to allow people to talk to us about. If you don't watch the news, if you're not consuming all the news, okay, and I would suggest that you don't right now if you want to keep your peace. Some people are built like that, but most people are not. Okay, most people are not built for it, to be listening to all the negativity coming through the media right now. So if you don't choose to take that in for yourself, why would you allow people to come to you and talk to you about it and give you all the updates? Oh, did you hear they're doing this? Did you hear they're doing that? Trump is doing this. Trump is doing that. Trump is cutting this off. Trump is making this legal. Trump is making that illegal. Trump's going to take everything you got. Why would you sit there and listen to that? Don't let someone come and share all their fears with you if you know that it's your goal to not fall into fear, not shrink into fear right now. Okay? So, my point is, it can be extremely triggering for us to watch someone using their powers of manifestation to instill fear and panic, chaos, and make people feel hopeless while we're still practicing and still learning how to use our powers of manifestation to protect our peace and to produce the life that we desire. Okay, to produce abundance, to produce love, to produce joy. Right? It can be triggering and it's very easy to get caught up. But you all, I really want to encourage us today to take steps to not let that happen. Okay? How many, give me some fire in the chat if you found yourself hearing some things, that are disturbing, that either make you sad, that make you fearful. Tell me how the things that you hear in the news make you feel. Okay? Give me some comments right now. Let me know how it makes you feel. Does it make you feel hopeless? Does it make you feel powerless? Does it make you feel frozen? Okay? And tell me, do you notice a difference when you refuse to watch that stuff? When you block it out? Have you tried that for yourselves? Have you tried turning off the news? Yes, it makes you feel impatient. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. It can make you feel anxious, right? It can make you feel very anxious. Like I need things to change and I need things to change now. It doesn't look like anything is changing. It looks like things are only getting worse because that's what's being reported. The news, it's just bad news. It's just bad news. That's all it is. Okay. And if you guys notice, also, the news is also not objective anymore. Okay. So, you all, I want you all to allow yourself to consider a few things. Okay. Now, we all say that we want change. We want the system to change. So many people say, oh, the middle class is being squeezed. The average working person, has to do so much to survive now, right? And all of these things that there's this system that's being constantly proliferated that really beats the people down, right? And we say we want that to change. We say we want that to change, right? In order for that to change, yes, I see somebody saying in chat, it makes you feel unstable. Yes, absolutely. In order for that to change, the system has to fall apart. Okay? Now, if you believe that change is coming, the same way you have people in this world that are here with the purpose of showing us something different and building up the new earth, ushering in the new earth, there are also people here that are serving the purpose to make the old world fall. there has to be a certain amount of chaos created in order for the systems that we say we don't want anymore. There must be someone here playing the role of making that system fall. And perhaps they are playing their role perfectly. Perfectly. Think about this. Does this make sense to y'all? Let me know in the chat if this makes sense. There must be someone here. There's a scripture in the Bible that says all things work together for the good of those who love the Lord. Okay? So, and there are many other scriptures that let us know that everything serves the same purpose, the purpose of the Creator. Okay? So just like we don't like tornadoes, we don't like hurricanes, we don't like earthquakes, we don't like volcanoes. They shake things up. They destroy, right? They're scary. They make us feel unsafe. They cause chaos. But guess what else they do? They balance the energy. When you see Mother Gaia producing a hurricane, a tornado, an earthquake, a volcano, she's taken all the waves of energy flying at her that she can possibly take. And now it's time to shake it up. Now it's time to transmute that energy and produce balance. Okay? This is the way that the earth balances out the energy in her energy field. We have an energy field, and Mother Earth has an energy field. Give me some fire in the chat if this makes sense, y'all. There are also people here that are here to shake it up. What we're seeing play out on a political scene, on a political scale, are tornadoes, they are earthquakes, they are volcanoes, they are monsoon rains. Come on now. We got to use what we know to discern what we're looking at, rather than allowing yourself to get caught up in the emotion of it. Okay? So we want to see change in the system, but we also don't want to lose the material things that we've amassed. That's a huge part of what's going on. That's why we fall into fear. Okay? We don't want to lose the material things we have amassed. We don't want to lose our comfort. We don't want to lose our individuality. Okay? We don't want to lose all of the things that we see as being us. Sometimes we see our career, we see our home, we see our clothes, we see our cars. We see those things as us. That's not you. That's not you. You are energy. You cannot be destroyed. So when we fall into fear, when it looks like these things are being threatened, because we're still too locked in to the material world. That's a clue. That's a clue. That when you think these things are you, when these things are being threatened, you perceive that you are being threatened. You are energy. Energy cannot be created nor destroyed. Okay? So even if your physical body is not you, even if your physical body were destroyed, you will still exist. Okay? So we have to allow that fear to fall away. But all the things that are happening are meant to stir up this fear. Okay, the current administration is successful through the activation of root chakra wounding, okay, which is triggering your survival mode instincts, keeping you in constant oscillation between flight and fight. With the unstable economy, wars, playing on collective racial wounding, and other strategies that keep the masses fearful and divided. Okay, we have to be able to see through this. All right, the result is paralysis. We see all the people that don't agree with what's going on just sitting there, right? Caught like a deer in headlights. Paralysis, right? Others go into anger, and many go into hatred. There are so many people that really, really, truly in their heart are falling into hatred of this administration. And that's why the title, the thumbnail on this video says, reject the invitation to darkness. Right? Greetings, Digimon. Hey. So when you allow yourself to hate this administration, their leader, or maybe you're seeing things online that's prompting you to fear or hate people that are a different skin color than you, and you believing that they hate you, so then you hate them. You believe that they're angry at you, so now you're angry at them. You believe they want to hurt you, so now you feel threatened, and you're preparing your mind like, oh, am I going to have to hurt them? It's madness. Does this make sense? Give me some fire in the chat if this makes sense. It's absolute madness. And it's keeping everyone anchored into root chakra wounding. Okay? Now, the quickest thing you can do to neutralize root chakra wounding or root chakra imbalance is to tap into your crown chakra. Okay? The quickest way to tap into your crown chakra is with gratitude. With gratitude. Okay? I like to say gratitude is my fight back. Gratitude is my way of fighting back. Gratitude takes you into the energy of the crown chakra and signals to the creator that you have not forgotten who you really are. You haven't forgotten what you really are. That you are energy, right? That root chakra wounding is telling you, oh, I'm being threatened. I'm not safe. Whether that's physically, emotionally, psychologically, I'm not safe, right? But if you know that you are energy, you are always safe. Energy cannot be created nor destroyed, right? So even if you were to leave your physical body, you're just going to be recycled. You're going to turn into a different form, just like everything else in nature. When the leaves are falling off the tree, do you think they're falling off the tree going, oh no, oh my God, no, no, they're not. Are they scared? Oh my God, I'm falling off the tree. What's going to happen to me? No, they're not, because the leaves are falling to the ground. They are absorbed into the ground, and they are now nourishing the ground, which nourishes the roots of that tree. Those leaves are not being sacrificed, they're being surrendered into the cycle of ever cycling energy. It's what the entire universe does. Okay? So you will become a part of the cycle. And I'm not saying this to be morbid, you guys. I'm saying this just to bring us back into the reality of who we are. We got to keep that at the forefront of our minds at all times. Because the ultimate threat is, oh my God, what if I'm not okay? What if I. Come on now. Right? We got to keep that in mind. And it really helps you to tap into your love warrior beingness, your fearlessness. Remembering why you're really here. Okay? Root chakra wounding makes us get hooked and start to believe we're something other than a spiritual being. All right, so y'all, if you have been proclaiming yourself as a star seed, as a light worker, as a healer, as a way shower, a child of God, or whatever it is, you are a spiritual warrior. You are here to fight back on a spiritual level. Okay? Now is not the time to lay down and take it. Okay? Now is not the time to shrink into fear and play it small, right? And stop pursuing your dreams and forget about all the things that you're here to do, the people that you're here to impact, the expansion that you want to see, feel, and experience within yourself. It's not time for that. Now is the time to lock into your purpose and your mission for why you're really here. Because when you expand within yourself, you're creating a burst of light that spans out into the collective consciousness and helps others to begin to neutralize their fear. When you live boldly, when you do your healing journey out loud, you're giving others permission to do the same thing. Give me some fire, if that makes sense. We got to keep these things in the forefront of our minds. Okay? Now, if y'all have questions or concerns about that, like, hey, what do I do when I'm feeling like this or whatever, please jump in. Okay? Give me questions, give me comments in the chat. This is a conversation, y'all. Okay? I want to know how you're feeling and what you're thinking. Okay? But now is the time, if you're a spiritual being, now is the time to start spiriting. Okay? Don't stop spiriting. Okay? Use everything you know right now to fight back. Whether that's altar work, whether that is meditation, whether that is Reiki for yourself and others, whether it's sound baths, okay? If you are, utilizing herbs, whether you're making teas or whether you're doing a smoke bowl, if you're taking your antidepressants and that's what you feel like you need to do right now to take care of yourself, there's no shame in that. Whatever you need to do to take care of yourself right now, do it. Okay? Do that. Okay? Yes. Miss Fortitude says, and create the future we desire to live in. Absolutely. Right? Listen, our power is in where we place our attention, what we choose to observe. Choose to observe the future that you want. Activate that third eye chakra. Go into the field of endless potential. Go into the quantum and identify the future that you are creating. Okay? Listen, we're going to get into it. Okay? We're going to get into it. So when you are feeling triggered in terms of safety or stability, questioning if you're going to have enough, questioning if you are enough, You must consciously move this energy from the root that is being constantly overstimulated right now up into your sacral chakra. This is where we set boundaries as to how much information we're going to take in, what we're going to expose ourselves to, what we're going to allow other people to expose us to, right? What areas of our daily activity will we allow to be affected, and to what degree? Are you going to allow this to cause you to shrink into fear, or cause you to fail to recognize allies, people that you can work together with to get through this time? Will you allow yourself to be caused to fail to recognize opportunities? That's what anxiety and worry and panic does. When you worry and you choose to observe the problem, you choose to place your attention on the problem, the threat. Yeah, have y'all noticed how many different things this administration has said? Hey, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this thing that's gonna be harmful to all, to lots of people. We're gonna do this horrible thing. And they say, oh no, never mind, we're not gonna do that. We're actually gonna do this. Oh, we're gonna bomb, and then we're gonna call for peace the next day. Has anybody else noticed that? Please let me know in the chat. Have y'all noticed that? It's a threat. It's always that something awful is going to happen. And some awful things have happened. But it's all about getting your attention, getting you to observe the threat and to agree that it is threatening, and to agree that you are powerless and there's nothing you can do about it, to get you to agree that horrible things are happening and that everything is chaotic. Choose to observe something else. Right. So true. Right? So true. Now, in the energy of our solar plexus, or our sacral chakra, this is where we're setting our boundaries. Okay, so directing this energy up from the sacral chakra, sacral chakra up into your solar plexus. This is where you are recognizing the core of your individual desires and the expansiveness of flexibility that is available to you as you accept what is. Flexibility is a form of expansiveness that you can come into. You can access this expansiveness, but only if you accept what is. Why am I saying this? Because we have a tendency to go into denial as a form of fighting back. We go into resistance as a form of fighting back. Now, when I say accepting what is, I'm not saying condoning outrageous behavior. I'm not saying that at all. I'm not saying giving up and just saying, oh, we're not, we're going to lay down for this. We're not going to fight back. I'm saying accepting the truth of what's happening. Admitting to yourself that, man, things are getting different. Accept that this is where we are. When you do that, rather than going into internal resistance, oh, no, this is awful. I don't want, you start the battle in your mind. I don't want that to happen. Why isn't anybody doing anything? Resistance to the fact that things are changing prevents you from being able to tap into your internal resources and come up with ideas of how you can actually survive through these changes. Being flexible, being willing to change with the times. What might that mean for you? Might it mean expanding the ways in which you produce income? Might it mean allying with some friends or family members and getting into some communal living, right? It's very normal in many other cultures. Okay? Americans do the least amount of pulling together. We're very individualized. But in many, many other cultures, and you see from people who do migrate to this country, that they tend to do a lot of communal living and sharing expenses. Why? Because it makes sense. It makes sense. But the Americanized way of living is very much about being segmented and holding on to our comfort. Right? Thank you, Digma. I really appreciate that. I really appreciate that comment. Digmo says, thank you so much for your weekly channel. I really appreciate it. And also it's really appreciated, and also my weekly piece. Thank you for that. That's my goal, is to help people reconnect and stay connected to their peace. That's what we're talking about tonight, right? So moving up from that solar plexus chakra, we need to move into the heart space. And this is what I really want to focus on tonight, the heart space. Okay. Now, one thing that I've really felt a call to do, and this has been going on since January, is to send love, send loving energy, send vibrations of love to you know who? The man himself. The man himself. The leader of this current administration. Okay? Look at this. Y'all see this? Guess who that is? Guess who that is? Somebody in the chat tell me who that is. This is your boy. This is your best friend. It's your best friend. Okay? It's your president. All right? Now, why am I showing this? What is the point that I'm making with this? A person does not go from being born into this world as an innocent child to being someone who displays the most outrageous behavior. I'll just leave it at that. The most outrageous behavior. And really seeming to enjoy throwing things into chaos and pumping fear into the masses. Unless at some point, this individual was made fearful themselves. Bullies become bullies because they have been bullied. They have been made to feel unsafe. They've been made to feel insecure. They've been made to feel not enough. Are bullies secure people? Are bullies secure people? Somebody answer me in the chat. Now I know I'm stretching it. I'm stretching it tonight. I'm pushing it, y'all. I know that. Asking you to see this person as a human. Asking you to see this person as a child. One thing that I've been doing as a part of my self-mastery, one thing that I do, a practice as a part of my self-mastery, as a part of neutralizing fear, is to meditate on sending love to this hurt person. Sending love to this hurt person. Now, I'm not saying I'm a fan. I think I made that clear at the beginning of this video. I'm not a fan. But I'm also not, I'm not for or against. Okay? Mother Teresa made a quote, and I'm summarizing. I'm sure I'm not saying her exact wording, but she said, if there is a protest against war, you will not find me there. But if there is a demonstration that is for peace, I will be there. That's where you'll find me. Can y'all see the difference in being against war and being for peace? Being for peace is the more compassionate, the more loving stance, the more loving vibration. So you all, one of the easiest ways, one of the best ways to neutralize your fear of someone, hatred of someone, or even when you feel like someone is victimizing you, one of the most effective things you can do is visualizing them, recognizing them as the hurt child that they are. So I'm inviting you all, I'm putting out a challenge tonight. I'm inviting you all to send vibrations of love, of healing to that little boy. Something you can just do in your mind and in your heart. Pray that that little boy heals in his mind and in his spirit. See, people act out and try to make other people feel little, feel small, when they've been made to feel little. They've been made to feel small. They've been made to feel powerless, when they've been treated in inhumane ways. People don't just come here with that psychological makeup. These behaviors are learned. Okay? So I'm going to challenge us to envision, and really, I'm giving you the visual. It's not too hard. It's right here. Let's go into the quantum. Is anybody feeling me on this? Is anybody with me? Give me some fire in the chat if so. Let's go into the quantum. Let's go into the infinite field of potentialities. And let's locate this little boy. This innocent child. I'm so sorry that you did not feel safe. I'm so sorry that you did not feel that you were enough. I'm so sorry you felt you had to prove yourself. I'm so sorry that you were challenged to show how cruel you can be. I'm so sorry you were given a toxic definition of manhood, of leadership, of self-importance. I'm so sorry that you were overpowered. I'm so sorry that you were taught hate. I'm so sorry that you didn't feel enough. I'm so sorry that you were not protected in the way that a child should be. I'm so sorry that you didn't feel safe. I'm so sorry that you felt separated from the Creator. I'm so sorry that you didn't know that you were loved. I'm so sorry that you didn't know that you didn't have to perform acts of cruelty to show yourself as being powerful. I'm so sorry you felt you had to claw your way to the top, that you had to step on people that were perceived to be as less than you. I'm so sorry that you had to witness acts of energetic violence and cruelty. I'm so sorry that you weren't allowed to be a child. I'm so sorry that you saw women being violated and treated as less than. I'm so sorry for what happened to your mother. I'm so sorry for the things that happened to your father. I'm so sorry for the legacy of tragedy that was passed on to you. As we allow our hearts to open, we send waves of love and healing out into the universe. Those waves of love, of healing, of peace, of Christ-aligned intention, Christ consciousness, unity with the cosmos, unity with one another, unity with the collective, unity within ourselves. Those waves of love and healing go out into the cosmos and return back unto us. That's what we're here for. This is why we are here. To transmute the energies that we are observing. Have you ever asked yourself, why is this set up this way? That our energy We take in energy and we put out energy based on what we observe. No one can control what you observe but you. Even if someone were to literally hold your eyes open and try to make you look at something horrible, we have the power to disassociate within our minds. People, this happens all the time when people are in a traumatic situation, they're going through trauma. They disassociate. We have that ability to protect ourselves mentally by disassociation. This is the proof that you are sovereign over your energy and that you have a choice of where you focus your energy and your attention. What if our sole purpose for being here as light workers, as star seeds, as healers, as way showers, truth seekers, what if our sole purpose for being here is to transmute the energetic violence that is occurring on the earth at this time? What if the only reason that these things are able to still happen and to play out is because we're not doing our part to the best of our capabilities? We're doing a lot of work, you guys. We are. People are waking up. People are becoming mindful. People are becoming intentional. But those that been woke, as we say, those that have been aware, those that have been enlightened, are we doing our utmost? Are we doing our utmost? Are we allowing our attention, our focus, our energy to be diverted? Are we allowing our energy to be fed into the beast? Right? Give me some fire if this makes sense, y'all. This has been good. Give me some fire in the chat. Y'all have questions, if you have comments, now is the time. You have a choice. You have the power to direct your own energy through what you choose to observe. Coming into a space of love towards yourself first, right? We talked about setting those boundaries within yourself, making a decision on how you're going to protect your peace, right? And how will you become flexible? How will you survive? How will you still pursue your goals? How will you still protect and live in alignment with your core values? Those are acts of self-love. If that makes sense, give me some fire in the chat. Those are acts of self-love at this time. Self-acceptance even. Okay, so love for yourself first. Your power is to heal. Your gift of healing is to heal yourself first. And then others. Expanding into love for yourself and others neutralizes fear. Okay? So I'm just encouraging you all tonight. Reject the invitation to darkness. The invitation has been put forth very publicly. You have been invited to your dark side. You've been invited to be a part of fear and hate and defensiveness and division and all of these things, believing the worst of yourself and of other people. Reject that invitation. Return to sender by putting love into the universe and All you have to do is what we just did, just envisioning yourself sending love. And it's not for you. Oh, well, rather, it's not for them, it's for you. It's not for them. These people will receive these energies if they ever reach for it. It will be there for them. But guess what? It's always going to return to you. All right, you all. Thank you so much for this talk tonight. Thank you so much for your participation in the discussion. Thank you so much for going with me on this journey. I know we went to some interesting places tonight, some unexpected places tonight. Okay. But this is the work. This is the mission. Okay. This is it, y'all. We're in it right now. We can't sit around like a deer caught in headlights waiting. If you haven't been put in a position in your life, if you're not, one of the lawmakers, if you're not, a person in certain positions to create certain types of change, if it's not in your heart to protest, right? If you're not a lawmaker, if you're not a politician, if you're not a person of influence, you may be led to believe that you are powerless, but this is your power. This is what you can do. Okay? This is what you can do. I know it feels like, oh, we can't do anything. No, this is what you can do to change the balance of the energy, to transmute the negativity. Okay? As we come into the new earth, we are creating it every day with our thoughts, with our heart's intention, with the love that we put out into the universe. Okay, so thank you all so much again for being a part of this discussion. And I will see you next week on Attracting Love Energy. Peace, love, and light to all my love warriors, love icons, and love magnets. Good night.